As I was saying on the panel today, we have a very different set of infrastructure. When we talk about Sub-Saharan Africa and try to compare with GCC, it begins with a very stable government and political environment in GCC countries with quite visionary leadership as well as a lot of financial strength. Whereas in Sub-Saharan Africa, except a couple of countries like South Africa, Nigeria, they have the financial strength, but definitely they lack the visionary leadership as well as the right kind of structures and regulatory mechanism to initiate any kind of investment or attract large mega projects. And because of that very fact that the government is not able to initiate or kickstart any investment, the country lacks investment in each and every sector, and absolutely there is a total absence of industries. And because of that, the countries find it even more challenging in terms of having the right kind of sponsors, developers who have a certain track record, and that's the first missing block for doing a large scale project finance. And second, because the financial institutions don't have much experience in the country and they got put back by lack of transparency, lack of initiatives from the government side, plus where they have taken some projects in the past, they have not such a great experience as they have to like restructure some of the loans as well. So they have not been able to take a very, very positive and progressive outlook about Africa. As one of the panelists said that even though they end up spending a lot of time with one transaction, uh, the time gets multiplied because of very unique challenges that are unique to Africa. On top of it, they don't see an incentive because there is no substantial pipeline to replicate their experience and scale up their business in Africa. So these are the challenges which are holding back the development in Africa, which we, from our perspective, we have been able to counter most of the challenges as we came out of Africa with a good track record. We had a great relationship with some of the leading financial institutions, including IFC. In addition to that, we had a very successful business operating in Nigeria, and we could structure a transaction in a manner where the lenders found it extremely attractive, both from sponsors' track record as well as the financial support what we provided for the project, which is not feasible in Africa for initiating other projects, whether in the power sector or infrastructure. So there is an extreme need at this hour for these development institutions to look for and develop certain unique products where they can assume a higher risk while sponsoring the projects in these countries, as well as on the back of success of few projects, they should guide the countries to set up right kind of framework, policy and infrastructure for attracting further investment and making the whole process very transparent. Why I liked and chose to be here today is that in the recent, like last couple of decades, GCC has been a prime mover of mega projects, both in petrochemical segment as well as in infrastructure. And we are progressing in the petrochemical side. We ourselves, from the sponsor's perspective, want to learn from GCC model. Plus, the topic of the event was very much linked to Africa, trying to replicate, and we wanted to share our own experience of doing a mega projects in Africa, which definitely this forum attracts both the investors who are looking at GCC as well as a lot of investors who are looking at Africa and trying to make the next decade belong to Africa in terms of the development. Being a developer, we would like to establish and broaden our base of financial investors as well as lenders And we definitely feel that through networking at this event, we have been able to make those connections, which will help us to fund relatively bigger projects in future.